was released on the Leader Records label. It became the first recording by a female Yoruba artist to sell over 1 million albums in Nigeria. Her music is a combination of talking drums, conga, saxophone, and keyboards, amongst other instruments. She has performed in and outside the country and has released up to 12 albums during her music career. Christy Uduak Essienigbokwe was born on 11th of November 1960 in Okat Ona, Akwa Ibom State. She was a celebrated Nigerian musician and actress. Christy was 12 years old when her mother died. Her mother's friend in Aba, Abia State, took her in. She encouraged Christy to develop her singing. She even bought her a second-hand cassette recorder to tape her songs. With time, Christy became known as Nigeria's Lady of Songs. Her greatest hits include Seun Rere, Tete Nla, Ife, Hear the Call, and Give Me a Chance. She was the first female president of the Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria, PMAN, and the chairwoman and managing director of Soul Train Entertainment. She was fluent in many Nigerian languages, including Igbo, Ibibio, Efik, Hausa, Yoruba, and English. This made it easy for her to cross tribal limitations by singing in any language she desired. Her epic Shorere broke all language barriers. Whilst Akwa Ibom's meme is regarded as the unofficial anthem of Akwa Ibom State, such was her impact across the country that whatever language she used, her message evoked emotion and reflection. Onyeka was born on the 31st of January 1952 in a small town in Imo State, but she grew up in Port Harcourt. She's a singer, a songwriter, actress, activist, journalist, and politician. The Nigerian press nicknamed her the Elegant Stallion. She released her debut album, From the Love of You, in 1981 while working with the Nigerian Television Authority. The album featured an orchestral cover of Johnny Nash's Hold Me Tight. Her second album, Endless Life, was produced by Sonny Okosun. Both were released on the EMI Records.
One love set you free. One love keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. One love.
Originally a secular artist, Owenu made the transition to gospel music in the 90s, and most of her songs are self-penned. She describes her music as African pop. This consists of highlife, Afrobeat, blues, jazz, Igbo spiritual, and even juju, a typical Yoruba beat. She continues to write and sing about issues like health, HIV, peace, mutual coexistence, respect for human rights, the plight of children, as well as pride in oneself.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am not Uwa, as you can see, but she's not feeling too well right now, so we wish her all the best, wish her a speedy recovery. But as you know, my name is Uti, and today I'm joined not only by Issy, friend of the family, regular guest of the house, Noma, and also our guest anchor today is Ifeyinwa Anene. She is an engineering project manager and energy analyst and is enthusiastic about history and tennis. Very interesting combination.
Very interesting.
Who's your favorite tennis star?
Oh, it has to be the Williams sisters.
Oh, fantastic.
But there's a wide range of them now. There's
Okay.
so many amazing players.
Yeah, the tennis landscape has changed so much from the days of it just being the Williams sisters, you know, Federer, Nadal, it's completely changed. Now, even though some
from
of the old
days
guys
of
are...
Andre Agassi and
Well,
Steffi
yes,
Graf.
Steffi Graf.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
no, sorry. I don't want to go too far back. I don't know how, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but it's been a thing for me with tennis. In fact, that thing of always wanting to play tennis, but awesome sports. For me, it
It's not too
trumps
late.
football.
It's not too late to learn if you've not.
Oh, no, I play. It's just never having the time to
amazing.
play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
great.
it's lovely to have you on the show. How are
Same
you
here.
doing, Issy?
I don't play tennis. I'm looking at you.
Don't be angry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm
Do
very
you
well,
play
thank you.
sports?
Oh, I don't want to disgrace myself. But I do. I'm a good swimmer.
Okay.
And
Well
that's
done.
one. And let me just finish it. And I do sack race.
It is a legitimate sport. Haven't you been to inter-house sports in school?
Absolutely.
Legitimate sports. Well done. Well
So
done.
because of our height, you know, we just, you know.
Exactly. Your center of gravity is there.
Yes, it's very, very
I went
close.
there.
years
I
ago
went
there.
there. I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I'm fine. I'm comfortable with it.
Awesome. Dova, how are you?
Yes.
Always lovely to see
Oh,
you.
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm in a very good place. That's all I
Oh,
can
you
say.
look great. Well, you certainly look it. You look amazing.
Uti, like I said when I came in, if we only look like what we go through, oh my God, it would be chaotic. Or like they say, chaotic.
Chaotic, exactly.
It's real chaotic. So, I mean, thankfully, we look better than we feel. Like I said, I've had a crazy week, but thankfully, I don't look the way I feel.
It has been.
So, I'll take it. I try to count the little blessings these days. You know, Nigeria can make you feel like
Very,
everything
very
is
important.
wrong, everything is bad. You know,
yes.
there's doom and gloom. So these days, I learn to just be thankful, and it's part
And
of my.
filter the negatives and
Absolutely.
absorb
It's
the
a
positives.
deliberate,
I think
very-
that's just for my sanity because there is so much gloom, like you said, so much gloom and doom, and all you just keep hearing is some violence, some kidnaps, some bad news. It just keeps coming.
COVID is back.
COVID is back. You know?
That is like
So
trying to
it's-
just not connect with it, but
it's
trying to
just
be
a-
extra careful.
People
very
committing suicide,
deliberate.
people killing people.
Very
It's
deliberate.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Very, very deliberate,
Yes.
you know,
In keeping your
place
sanity,
to
basically.
continue to keep your
Sanity.
Absolutely.
Because everything is
paramount.
walking in the opposite direction to get you to that
Yes.
place where you're completely frustrated. But you have to, it has to be deliberate, it has to be intentional. You wake up with the mind that it is
to
going to be
protect your
good.
mental
Yeah.
health.
And
Absolutely.
then when you veer off, just try and come back because someone will try to tick you off, and
Exactly.
then you just try and come back and say, you know what, I'm not going to get mad today. I'll just.
Well, I'm looking forward to an exciting show, ladies. Here's what we found as today's quote. Anytime there is a lot of money or ego involved, people tend to behave badly. And that's a quote by Brad Gray. I can't agree more. What do you think, Ifeyinwa, of that quote?
Well, I look at it two ways, right? Because I feel like money only exposes people. Money wouldn't change you per se. So if you're already a bad person, money will give you a lot of power to become very overpowering and become very domineering. So, but there's so many ways to look at it. But I really don't think that money changes people. It just exposes
Amplifies.
and then amplifies what was already in there.
You know, when I saw that quote, what actually resonates with me was another quote that says, you know a man when he has nothing, and you also know a man when he has everything.
Yeah.
So it actually exposes who the person really is. So if the man has nothing, it shows. Most times the man is humble, but the moment he has everything and he's still able to maintain that humility, that shows that you have a huge person or personality right in front of you,
Yeah.
basically.
What do you think, Mama? Do you
I
agree?
totally agree with everyone. And just to add that when Isi was saying man, it doesn't mean the
Just
male,
male
gender.
gender.
Both
Yeah.
male and
It's both
female.
male and
Exactly.
female. Everyone is or everybody sees the other side of them if they don't know or they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
When things like money show up, because it carries a lot of weight, emotional weight. So you will begin to see it manifest based on what someone has or doesn't have.
Exactly.
Then you start to hear phrases like, do you know who I am?
Ego comes in.
That's right. So it's our ladies' night out, and tonight we're asking, what impact is money and ego having on your relationship? So if it were Noma and myself and Issy, we're going to discuss this, and when we open the phone lines, we would really love to hear what you have to say. But first, let's take a quick break to see what we found in the news. You're still watching Ways. The aim of World Youth Skills Day is to encourage youth to celebrate the value of acquiring skills like building, making, and creating as a way to achieve personal success and fulfillment. Through empowering young people, they can better advance the broader mission of the United Nations for lasting peace, sustainable development, and human rights for all. According to the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, a UN resolution to establish a World Youth Skills Day was adopted by the General Assembly on December 18th, 2014. If there was ever a day to celebrate, this is the one. I'll start from Noma because I know you're excited about this day.
I am super excited. In fact, on Saturday, I have an NGO that we've been partnering for close to, I think, 7-8 years now. It's called Yes, I Believe Academy. And what is their objective? They aim at empowering young people with different skills. So they get together people in different industries, you know, makeup and shoemaking, different things to come and teach and to share the life lessons, like to be role models, so to speak, to these young ones, to say that you don't have to depend on others for your future. You can begin to, you know, cultivate a lifestyle that is going to be geared towards giving you the kind of future that you're looking for. If you could just begin to look within. Sometimes life will not offer everything to you, but when you look within, you find out that there are resources that are there that are just waiting for you to tap into. Imagine a young person, if I knew certain skills, okay, like for myself, I started off at 18 to start having to go for the, what do they call it, trade fair. I worked in trade fair with my twin sister for 2 years before we got into I got into the university. And it was a little bit of exposure, making that little money for myself, knowing that I could actually do something. Started triggering that entrepreneurship lifestyle, so to speak. So if young people know that these things are within them and they have the opportunity to learn things that begin to empower them in such a way that they don't become dependent and begin to do, if I may borrow the word, stupid stuff,
Exactly.
just to be able to survive or to live the kind of life that they want to, then they are in a better place. And we have a better society. Because that way, the idle mind will not have opportunity to begin to explore, you know, opportunities that are not empowering, so to speak.
And it's the way we think about entrepreneurship. We took a story on Tuesday about a lady who said she was a graduate, but she couldn't find a job, so she had gone back home to fry Gary with her family. And she spoke of it almost from a condescending point of view, like, you know, I'm a graduate. And I read an article that was talking about the fact that, you know, we've created such a bias towards acquiring skills, like polytechnics and technical schools, and we've focused on universities and all of that. And these things they create employees. But when you learn a skill, you are creating an employer of the future. So even just understanding today that we're celebrating young people and saying, you know what, go out there and get skills. You have to, you know, when I was younger, my grandmother used to call it handwork.
Very true. You know, back in the days when we, before formal education, there was something they taught us in history of education. And they said that back then, education is supposed to be... It's supposed to be...
Yeah,
what?
I'm just going to interrupt you there. Sorry. Let's be mindful of time so that we have enough time for our conversation.
Absolutely.
But let me jump straight to you with your story. What did you find for us?
Okay, my story goes thus that it resonates with me because it has to do a bit with what we have to talk about today, and it also has to do with mental health. So the story goes, Nigerian soldier kills girlfriend, threatens to commit suicide. Now, this is the story. Let me just give you a snippet from what the story is all about. A female university student in Bayelsa State, Nigeria's south, has been killed by her lover, a Nigerian soldier who is said to have suspected that she was cheating on him. Not marriage, girlfriend. Now, the 23-year-old student, Jennifer Ogadu, was a 200-level student in the Faculty of Education at the Niger Delta University, Wilberforce Island, before she was brutally shot dead by her boyfriend, who was identified by the police as James Matol. Now, this happened in Bayelsa State. Now, the key thing that resonates with me with this is because of his ego. He felt he had been cheated on by his girlfriend. She's not married to him, for Christ's sake.
Even if she was married to him.
No, I know, but I'm just looking at it from he has no right whatsoever, no ownership over this girl. And he just killed this girl for her parents for no reason. And she's still in her 20s, for Christ's sakes. And secondly, the way they actually discovered the girl is also questionable.
Very. That's the part of the story that sounded odd to me.
It's quite questionable because her friend, in quotes, said that she stumbled on a WhatsApp chat that in which the soldier admitted that he had killed this girl. So you didn't stumble on the chat with, you know, your girlfriend, you didn't see it on your girlfriend's phone, but you stumbled on it on a chat. Where did you see the WhatsApp chat?
So nobody heard the gunshot? Nobody. Like, there are just too many things there.
Too many things are not adding up.
Yeah.
So and secondly, was there a correlation between the girlfriend and the soldier? So there are too many loopholes.
There are a lot of stories there, but you know how our stories are. They will keep unfolding.
Exactly.
I will keep hearing more.
Exactly.
Ifewa, what did you find for us?
Okay, there's a story, is energy related, but I think it's something that we should really talk about. The headline is Major Oil Marketers Protest Restriction of Import Licenses to Refiners. So basically, okay, just a snippet of it. So the two major oil marketing associations have kicked against the restriction of petroleum import license to a limited number of refiners as spelled out by the proposed petroleum industry bill. So the two marketing unions said the decision of the proposed bill was against the principle of fair play for a major resource that the country largely depended on, noting that it was dangerous. Now, there's a part of the PIB in section 205 that removes price control on petroleum products, but then restricting importation of products only players with local refining is more or less you're doing one on the other and then taking it the other way. So basically, if someone is just listening, sometime early in the year, the Dangote Group proposed to the federal government that they should restrict licenses of oil products importation to only companies that have refining licenses.
And how many companies have that?
And how many companies have that? About 57, and only 28 are active. But that's not even the catch. The catch is, even for the ones that are refining, you have to be refining within a capacity to be able to import a certain volume. So for instance, if refinery that just opened up at 5,000 barrels, will not even be able to import. So currently, as it stands, if the PIB is assented into law by the president today, only two entities will be able to import considerable
so they've just
volume.
created a monopoly.
considerable volume of petroleum products, and that's the NNPC and the Dangote.
And of course, you've taken off the price restriction now. So whatever price those companies choose to set the price at,
That's what it takes.
So and I think it's something that, because this particular thing, before it was passed by the Senate, it was already raised. People already raised concerns. So we don't have to wait until it's been passed into law before people start to raise alarm and try to reverse. Yes, but it doesn't look good for, creating a duopoly. Just two entities are able to import considerable sums.
Well, we'll watch the story and see how it. I've been watching the PIB story closely, all the different things, Niger Delta. There's so much going on there, so let's see how it plays out. I'll quickly take my story. So my headline says FG awards 5 road contracts worth 309.9 billion to Dangote Group as tax credit.
Oh my God, I didn't know we're going to have...
When you said, I was like, yeah, we're going somewhere. So the story here speaks to the fact that the Federal Executive Council has approved the award of the contracts to Dangote Industries. The 5 projects span a total length of 274.9 kilometers. Majority of the roads... where's the list now? So I think you have the Bama to Banki in Borno State for 51.02 billion. The Dikwa to Gambari and Gala for 49.15 kilometers, 49.58 in Borno State. Then the Nnamdi Azikiwe Road, popularly known as the Western Bypass in Kaduna, from Command Junction to Kawu, for the sum of 37.56 billion. And then there's one in the seaport access, sections 1 and 3 in Lagos State. So I believe that's on the Ekpe side of Lagos State. So essentially just speaking to all these road contracts. Now, I had mixed feelings when I saw this, because it feels like in everything and everywhere in Nigeria you hear Dangote. It's not a bad thing, but it almost feels like surely there are other entrepreneurs out there. So you hear all these claims where they say, oh, it's who you know, it's all the, the history of his family and all of that. But first things first, it's an innovative way for us to deal with our infrastructure issues, to give companies, private sector, PPP for me has always been the way forward. So to give companies that can actually afford to do it, will actually give them, and then they are incentivized because you're giving them tax breaks. Now making sure that we can actually hold them accountable. I think it's easier to hold a company accountable than it is to hold the government, to hold the federal ministry and say, you know what, Ibadan Expressway has been taking forever. I think it's easier to hold a company accountable, but this is Nigeria, so let's not hold on too much to that. But it's an innovative way to get our infrastructure issues being done. But I would like to start to hear the names of other companies aside from the Dangote Group. But let's wait and see.
Let's see how it unfolds.
Exactly, let's see how it unfolds. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll jump into the topic once we get back. Stay with us.
Roller coaster ride.
It is said that money is one of the biggest challenges in relationships. However, it's not just the lack of money that causes problems. The role of ego in the handling of money is also capable of challenging, if not destroying, our relationships. Return on investment doesn't have to always be about money. It can be respect, time, communication, or assistance. So if someone cooks for you, you can offer to clean for them. If someone loans you their car, then fill it with gas, wash it, and communicate your gratitude and respect. If someone ties their time, knowledge, or money to you, or gives you a place to stay, go overboard in trying to return the investment. A little effort, gratitude, respect, responsibility, and communication go a long way. Money is worthless if you haven't treated others with respect, with gratitude, and with kindness. You may actually hit the target of being a millionaire, but you will miss the bullseye of integrity, self-mastery, happiness, and being a good human being. So we ask today, what impact is money and ego having on your relationship? Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. When I saw this topic, let me start from Ifewa, actually. As our guest. Why do you want to start? As our guest, we have to, we have to celebrate you a little bit. But what was your thoughts? Because, I saw the topic and to be honest, I rolled my eyes and I thought, oh, yeah, money, ego. We're going to have an interesting conversation, but what were your thoughts? How do you, let me ask a direct question. How has money or ego impacted your relationships?
Significantly, okay? So First of all, I was thinking about data from Western worlds. You know, at least they have, they put out their data. So divorce, money issues are one of the second cause of divorce. So the reason for divorce, and it is really important because our personalities, our spending habits, our attitude to work, ability to earn, and family, it's a whole wide range of issues that, you know, affects relationships. So I think that most of us spend, we make assumptions, you know, but I think I would also like to hear from you that, you know, you're gone far in you know, but I think we make a lot of assumptions and we don't have certain difficult conversations. I feel like now that the burden of bringing in revenue into the home is now being shared between the man and the woman, and there's no that natural assumption that, oh, the man is automatically responsible for X, Y, Z, 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 and then the woman just handles this part. So now that shift is happening, I think that the issue of money would be a major problem unless we are able to have very honest conversations and iron things out.
So I feel like you're reading my mind, right? Because when you started to talk about the gender role in relationships, I want to light fire now. Let me see. You know, I'm a bit traditional,
Okay.
and I'm sure that our callers will have my head for this. I really believe that in a relationship, I was where I was. You crossed the street. You said hello. Please, don't look at me. If your pockets can carry it, let's go. Don't expect me to add to it. This shift you've talked about, it's real. It's happening today. Men now are having conversations with women saying, what are you bringing to the table?
Absolutely.
So what is your view, Norma, on this? I don't want us to speak too much on gender, but I think it's very important in this conversation that we're having that is there a role gender plays? What is your viewpoint in terms of money and ego? Because we know the male ego is
It's a big one.
Well, thank you, Uti, for putting me on the hot spot.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Well, I believe, okay, so I don't want to focus on any gender in particular, but people are who they are. And that's just the way. I've forgotten the person who said this. He said, when people show themselves the first time, believe them.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it was Oprah. I think I saw that
Believe
video.
them,
Yeah.
right? Because people are a product of different things. You know, they came from their product of the family that they were raised up in. They come from a society. That's why they say when you see a Nigerian out there, you know that's a Nigerian, right? And then the emotional experiences that they go through in life. So these are things that inform the person that you're coming in contact with. So any two people who come together and say, oh, we want to begin to connect and see a future together, and they are not able to come to terms or have conversations that begin to, I know sometimes people pretend, so for a period, and that's why sometimes they say give some things time so that it begins to reveal the real truth in itself, right? So when people begin to have conversations, you can ask questions and it will inform you about the values, the person, who the person is, how they see things. So when you have conversations around money, what do they think? So some people come from the school of thoughts that says, oh, the two of us have to bring something to the table, which is good. You know, that's their perspective. Maybe the exposure that they have in life is that, oh, I saw mom working hard, I saw dad working hard, and they came together and they made this work. While some others are coming from school of thought where it says, oh, the man is the head, so he goes out, go do this, and that. The truth of it is that the two people have to know what are they bringing to the table. And no two situations are the same. So what works for you does not necessarily have to work for me. You need to and that's a mistake that a lot of people make. So you see other couples, it seems like things are rosy around. Can't you see what this person is doing? Or, you know, what are you doing? You don't know the perspective or the agreements that they've come to terms with. And these are key aspects especially when it comes with money. Because if you don't understand the perspective, when the sparks start showing up, it can be catastrophic. So it's important that communication, honest communication, talk about some of these things that usually will bring issues, because money reveals the behavior sometimes. What's someone's understanding about money? For me, it could be, jaye all the way. So we go spending. While somebody else, or, you know, there's one person who is a prudent one and he's cautioning and saying, we have to save, we have to keep something aside, we have to do this or the other. When the two people have an understanding, then they're able to work out something that works uniquely for their relationship.
Absolutely. Making sure that your values align is so key. So I'd like to just step back a little bit, Issy, from the romantic man-woman, husband and wife relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. Let's even talk about it from a friend perspective.
Yes.
In Nigeria today, let me speak for Lagos. You go out, everybody's swinging Gucci, swinging Prada, swinging their Mercedes-Benz key. I want to talk about money and ego from the perspective of friendships. I see a lot of competition. I see a lot of, you have, so I must have. What's your view on that?
Okay. First, let me go on the context of ego. When you have ego, it means self-esteem. And that self-esteem is not about, there's a difference between self-esteem and pride. Pride is being satisfied with who you are or what you have. But ego is about seeking validation from someone else, being in control. So when you start swinging those keys, what comes to mind first is, I'm better than you. I have control over you.
By it.
I have control over you. You're not as good as I am. That means, ego comes into play. So humility is far off when you're interacting with people like that. And what you need to understand with people like these is that they seek validation from what people actually think about them. It's not about what they think about themselves. So there is a lack of confidence in it, is based on what they have. That's what they use to actually seek validation from people. Now, we have also individuals who have, we're not talking about relationships, we're talking about individuals who have friends and they go on a date, they sit down and they eat. After having lunch or dinner, they say, oh, don't worry, I'll pick the check. How much is it? Without even thinking. No matter what the amount is, they wouldn't even ask. They would like to go to a posh restaurant or something and, do some, schwa stuff. And before you know it, the bill comes. And they know they don't have that amount in their pocket. They know they can afford to pay for it. But because of they're seeking some sort of validation from the other person, what would they do? They might even use their whole salary to pay for it. So
okay,
ego,
I see where you're coming from now. So that drive,
ego plays a huge role in that aspect as well. So friendship is, ego is about self-esteem, but is veered towards negative and not the positives.
It's funny that you say that, because I find when I think about these things, I think there's a cultural element to it as well.
Absolutely.
The way we validate people. Somebody once said to me that, depends on the car you are driving. That depends whether they will just open the gate or they'll come out and ask you, Who are
you
you?
looking
Who are
for?
you? Who are
I
you
saw
looking
that
for?
happen yesterday.
See?
Right in Lekki, I was standing and waiting for someone, and we had mixed up our venues, and I saw that happen. So there are some cars that will come,
And they
hush,
throw open the gates.
and then they throw open the gates, and then the other one, the gate is locked, and then they come out like, okay, where's your reservation?
Yeah.
Who are you looking for? That kind of
Exactly.
thing. It's
And you know, for me, that cultural element, I think it even drives the issue of ego. So
Ego.
where you are talking about pride,
Yes.
so I may not have even had a problem, but the day it happens to me, then you start to think to yourself, oh, so I'm actually being assessed by the material stuff.
Oh, yes.
Now money becomes important. The wrong side of ego, because I mean, ego could either be self-esteem or it could be self-importance. So
Yes.
the wrong side of it starts to come out, and you're now being forced to deal with these things that would not necessarily have actually factored in your mind. And I think that for me, when I think about Nigeria, that's a lot of our problems.
Majorly, that's our problem, because you know everything that we do in Nigeria has to do with money, who you be, who is your father, who is your mother,
What school did you go
what
to?
school did you go to? What have you attained in future?
Prestige.
It's all about prestige at the end of the day. So there is no human face to it, no empathy to it. So why wouldn't you have the crime rate in the country today escalate? Why wouldn't you have people going out of their ways to, you know, steal money? Why wouldn't you have people going out of their ways to commit rituals and, you know, go about all the different bad vices that they're supposed to, you know, ignore? And this still stems from the fact that we do not ask them, where did they get their monies from? How did they get these monies? We just say, oh, you come with Range Rover Sports. Correct, man. You don't gather money. So, or you don't hammer. Let me use our usual phrase. So things like this are the things that actually, you know, sets the ball rolling for, you know, ego to, you know, thrive. And the society doesn't frown at people who have these monies and they spend it. Look at when you go to a club, for example. I haven't been to a club for like forever, but the key thing is this, that when you go to a club and you see those Yahoo boys, you know, or what's that word? When they're spending money and they bring that rocket that they, you know, I don't know.
champagne with the sparklers.
Champagne, yes, with the, and they bring the bucket and they, you know, dance to them. Everybody will say, I don't arrive, you know. That ego, like I'm popping champagne or champagne in a club. That thing is what actually makes them feel that, oh, I will go back and I will catch another maga and I will get more money.
So yeah, it's a catch-22.
Oh,
It
yes.
still goes down to values. I mean, the situation has been on a constant decline over
Absolutely.
time because no one is asking questions anymore. I remember back, well, I don't want to be old school. I mean, say, oh, back in the days. No,
Let's
I
be
don't want to
old
go
school.
there. But really, there were times where people used to ask questions.
Yes.
There were times when, with all of your money, you would come and people will spit on your face and say,
Exactly.
go away with you, your money, your cars, perish.
Nothing to do with
we
you.
don't have nothing to do with you. But over time, all that has changed. Now, you know, online, you see people looking like the life, so to speak, and these are what young people constantly see. So when, you know, the more you feed off all of that around
Narrative.
you,
Yeah.
it begins to inform you about the way or the path that you want to follow. So some people begin to feel bad. Oh, I don't have this money, so how do I get it? By all means, so that I can show off either to my girlfriend or to my, you know,
To seek
someone I'm in a
validation.
relationship with.
Yes.
And then sometimes the you know, what in reality, so okay, so sometimes let's even say that they make money legitimately, right? And then you get into a relationship and then somehow things go wrong. And then you can't be as liquid as you used
were.
to. It brings frustration. All of a sudden, you are no longer who you are. It takes away that definition of who you are, and then you begin to feel insecure. Sometimes you see irritation, you know, people just lash out, and you even see people become violent on account of not being it. So the values, when I go back to values, it's very important. The place that forms you is what will inform you in your up times and your down times.
Exactly.
If you are informed thinking that, oh, this money, you have to get it by all means. Trust me, when you are in your down times, you would do anything to get it.
Yeah.
But the same way, like I would use myself as an example. I've seen good times, you know, you're just comfortable, you have all your need and all of that. And then I've also seen lack. Right? Now, somebody would see you and think that, oh, you have it all figured out. But you can't even know when I don't have money.
Exactly.
Because I have learned part of my values is to be content, you know, and look for ways to earn that money, you know, in such a way that I'm adding value. So money is not about my pocket is empty. It's about I need to create value that can add on, commensurate, you know, value to myself in terms of money, right? So when people reorient themselves, it goes back to the mind. If we have the culture in Nigeria, we have to deliberately, I keep going back to these words, deliberately and intentionally go back to teaching some of these things.
So just hold that thought on value, because you just hit something that I really wanted to touch on. We're going to take a very quick break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
It's also equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you don't talk, they will beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
If you've just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're asking what is the impact of ego and money on relationships. So do you have a personal story or would like to share with us? Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation via SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. Our phone line is also now open, so please call us on 0702-500-7749. So I had just interrupted you, Nama, when you started to talk about values, because it almost seems like it's a negative thing, like money can't have a positive effect on relationships. So I started to think, actually, how can we negate this negative value of money and how it impacts people? And I think you just defined it perfectly, that when our values are aligned around money, so I'm content, you're content. If you're swinging your car key today I'm excited for you. I'm happy for you.
Genuinely.
It doesn't diminish what I
Genuinely.
have.
Exactly.
Right? In a relationship, a wife wants to go to an expensive school. The husband wants to go to a, you know, maybe not so expensive school. So you find that maybe for me, it's like, it's actually the disconnect, the misalignment
Absolutely.
of those values that are,
Absolutely.
you know, impacting it. So when you were speaking to it, I just thought, now we're switching the conversation now,
Yeah.
moving closer to the solution side
Because
of it.
two people who are coming from totally different backgrounds. If they don't have those conversations, their life experiences, so it's going to show up. Even if you don't deal with it in your dating relationship, if you eventually get married, it's going to show up, and it's broken. Money is a beautiful thing and very, very important.
Exactly.
You know
for
what?
things to go right. But having an informed perspective about money makes it even better.
They're better. Yeah.
So that when you both are going through the motions, whether good or bad, you have an understanding. You know, even if that you don't have money now does not mean that this state is going to be forever. We are now going to rub minds on how to come out of this situation. What values are we creating to get ourselves out of this situation?
Yeah. Exactly.
But when people think that it's just a means to an end, right? So I just have it and I just spend it, or I must have it or I just be looking at it, then it's not going to be of any use to you, and it's going to be destructive, because now the focus is on the money and not the relationship that you have.
Exactly.
So while you're building that relationship together, have those conversations that begin to align your values to help you for the hurdles ahead, because they're definitely going to come. I remember sometimes, you know, like I say, I'm like, most times I'm like the driver pressing on the accelerator, and then my husband is the brakes. So I see something, I'm like, let's go, you know, and all of that, and he's like, hold on,
Pause.
before we go, what is the objective? In fact, I have to write out like a proposal to tell him that, oh, this has to be done, or this is the perspective. Sometimes he brings on a project and says, okay, let's look at this. What do you think? How are we going to, I mean, it's a good thing, but how are we going to be able to solve it? Where's the money going to come from? What can we do today? So now it's like a think tank, right? So we're talking and we're having those conversations. If we didn't start early enough, it was going to be a problem, because it's like go, but you're not even seeing all the other loopholes. Your own is just, oh, let's go there, but what if you get into a huddle? What are you going to do? So you've not thought it through completely, right? So it's very, very important, and I kind of emphasize it. Anybody saying that money is bad is a liar. It's very, very important, definitely.
So if you were going to say something.
No, there was just, when she talked about how we look at it as if money is a bad thing, and I just remembered something that trended on social media some time ago, that someone said, oh, money does the work and love takes the credit. No, that's something that money is supposed to enhance.
Okay. If you were, just hold on one second. I believe we have Paul from Benin. Hi, Paul, can you hear us? Hi, Paul, are you there? Can you hear us? Okay. If you were, please go ahead. I'm sure Paul.
Okay, no, it was just a short contribution. You know, how money is not a bad thing at all. It's supposed to enhance, help us express what we have, help us fulfill the dreams we have, help us, you know, without money, how do you, there are very little things that you can show someone, gestures, even kind gestures, you know, and that's why we say, oh, blessed to be a blessing.
Yeah.
So how will you help someone if you don't have anything?
Okay.
And I think that's...
So let's hold on. I think Paul is back. Hi, Paul, can you hear us now?
Yes. God bless you.
Thank you for joining us. Let's hear what you have to say.
Oh, my name is Paul. I'm calling from Benin. I hear you people discussing about issue when you have the money to go the privilege to prove to them the love you have. If not, when something like you died, that they will come to celebrate you No, I just like to make you understand. It's really, really good when you prove the truth for the life before your death. Hello, ma?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Okay.
So, I was going to say this, that, somebody actually, when they were talking about money, somebody said, money is good. The root of money is actually the one that actually
Is evil.
That is evil. That's the one that's actually causing problems. When we love money, it's good to love money. But when you now idolize it, that is where we now have our key problem, which is what we have today in Nigerian society, where we give cognizance and recognition to those who have it and look down on those who do not really have it. And there is also something that ego also does. For some people who feel that they have arrived and they have self-validation from people, they look down on people who do not have.
So hold that thought, Issy. I think we have Joe from Abuja. Hi, Joe. Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing.
Good evening. Thank you. Let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, what I have to say is about the issue of value. Value is very important in relationship. And another issue is that some men lie to women a lot. The reason why I'm not married up to now is because I prefer telling people the truth. And this generation of women don't like the truth. When you tell them the truth, many of them will run away. They prefer people who have flashy car and other things. They don't know that life is not all about money. That's the issue.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I agree that life is not all about money. Joe hit the nail on the head. But let's be fair. It's like I tried to say early on. Maybe the problem now today is that we now don't have a barometer for content. So you can't have small money and expect that, in every bracket, there is somebody for somebody. But today now, every somebody wants a somebody that is at the top. So I think that's what Joe is trying to say. Because, to be fair to the male gender, it is getting tougher. Women have such high expectations. Nobody wants to start. I remember a couple of years ago seeing a picture of Basket Mouth and his wife when they first met. And I saw the picture and I thought, who's going to do this now? Maybe except if you're in university and you meet. But even now, the university girls they're not checking for their, their mates.
They're not interested.
They're not interested. So,
Chidinma type of girl.
Well, so that culture thing, it comes back to the fact that we've, over time, eroded the values that allows people to say, you know what, I can be content. Because I shared a couple of days on the show, I said, look, I got to a point where I said to myself, why is you having XYZ problem? I had to catch myself. So even me who is thinking and sensible is able to see that, you can easily get distracted in today's Nigeria. That we have to actually start to cultivate that values, having the right values, being content, asking questions. This thing that you talked about, of seeing people with money on social media, flaunting it all over Instagram with no explanation. I'm not asking for your life story. But when Dangote says he has money today, you know why, whether you agree or you disagree. But at least it's clear.
You know this, yes.
But then when somebody else comes out and says, I was taxed 100 and something million, what business are you doing? Or is there FIRS just checking for you like they're checking for multi-choice? I don't know. So that culture, how can we start to turn that ship around?
Uti, it starts right here, right now.
Yes.
Like parenting, for example. The parents of today, what are we doing? What are we telling our kids? What are they seeing? A lot of times I tell my kids, you know that anything I tell you, I do. True or true? They say true.
True or true.
They say true. But the truth is that I'm trying to be that example that he's seen.
Exactly.
Gone are the days when you ask people, who is your role model? They say, my dad, my mom. I've seen some then in the days of Twitter. I saw some, tweets about some people. I think I saw one about a young girl, and I saw another one about a young boy who he had just finished his degree and done his NYSC. He said he took his certificate back home to the village.
So hold that thought. I think we have Ikechukwu from Lagos. Hi,
Yeah.
Ikechukwu. Hi, can you hear us?
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Let's hear what you have to say, please.
Yeah, I am happy listening to what people are talking. So I want to make my own contribution.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, ladies. I sincerely want to tell you people that the present day Nigeria is money all through.
Absolutely.
It's money all through. Check through higher institutions now, universities everywhere. Young people between the ages of 18 to 25, they are in Bitcoin. Some of them are doing Yahoo. Because why? The society is purely in money. What they hear is money. I am a father that is more than 60 years. I also have my children in university. A father in Nigeria today is the local government chairman in his house. Every husband is a local government chairman. You provide your partner. When any person is sick in your hospital, you go to private hospital, the schools, private schools, everything, you take care of it. Their children are watching, they are looking at you. They know that, I still remember my daughter telling me that she cannot come from a comfortable home it is now and married to a man where they live in one room apartment. Are you getting my point?
Yes, we are, but I think the line is breaking up a bit.
You need to know that today, relationships are not actually stand. 20% of relationships may manage to stand when there is not enough money. Because the reality is that money is necessary in a home. Imagine what it looks like when your children are back from school because of no school fee. And they are crying for food in the house because they are school fee. And the landlord is giving quick notice who is not a tenant. The ones must break loose and get sad and start to abuse the husband and talk anything, unthinkable things to the wife. Because when it is not how I am a Christian. When a man is unable to provide for his relative, especially his immediate family, and he has denied that is worse than an unbeliever. So the woman has to accuse the husband for failing to take care of them. Because of all these things you see, it is very clear that relationship must go hand in hand with money.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your submission. Thank you for calling. He has said so much. And I mean, some very hard truths there.
Yes.
Money causes problems in relationships. If you as a couple, you come home, your children can't eat for whatever reason. He's raised some important points there. Sometimes I feel like, Nigeria is hard these days, so it's not even about planning right. You know, you can go in today to work and the job is gone, and your business can.
A lot of people lost their jobs.
You can have a
last
business
year.
and tomorrow there's a policy.
Policy just changes and everything just goes
that closes you down.
It does change quite a lot. But I mean, if we come back now to this, we've talked about parenting being a solution, because the only way that we can at least start to turn this ship around, because everything in Nigeria is about money. If there's anything that our last caller just said that was nail on the head, everything in Nigeria is about money. We talk money. You know, we've gotten to the point where nobody even asks questions. As you are spending money, let's just spend this with you. Do you know how he got it?
Don't care.
We don't care. We just speak about, we're focused
It's solving
on money.
our problem.
Yes, so we don't even look past that point. So you have girls today that are dating guys. What does he do? I don't know. But he's giving you all the money you want, so you don't care. It even feeds back to the parents, because even some parents, you don't know what your child is doing, but the child is giving you money. You don't ask questions. So, I think we have Okay from Enugu. Hi, Okay, are you there?
Yes.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much.
Please go ahead.
Yes.
I think you may need to turn the volume of your
Right.
TV down.
It's interesting listening to you guys and youthful young women. But I want to say is that I came back to this country a few years ago, and I consider myself a middle class here. But a lot of the women that I meet see me as rich. I'm wondering, can you tell me what's rich in this country? If somebody making $5 million a month considered rich? I don't. Where I came from is considered middle class.
Well, given to
I just want to know.
Okay, so your question is, what's the definition of being rich in Nigeria?
Right. I'm just want to know.
I'm not sure that there's an actual definition, but I think it's different for everybody. So thank you very much for calling. I'm sure in the discussion we'll try and find an answer for you. So
For me, I think another way we can, seek solutions to this problem. She has harped on one, which is our values. There should be a shift in our values. And it starts from the stable, it starts from parenting, and it also starts from having the conversation, not just on the table, but, with individuals. You have to, have that mind shift or mindset shift. So we also look at respect. Even if the person doesn't have enough money, you should accord that person that same respect, because you just never know, because we are all humans. The first thing we are is humans before we became...
We must have humanity.
Yes, before we became rich or poor, we are humans. So first things first, we have to accord that, respect to, you're talking to another human being. Even if it's your gate man, even if it's your gate man, regardless of who he is or what he does for a living, because respect is paramount. Then gratitude. We have to have gratitude. If the man opens the door for you, you say thank you. If it's your security man, you say thank you. You have to show gratitude to whoever you have around you, because you just never know. Life is so fragile.
These little things matter, and because it still goes back to values, because we're losing those little things that made people human.
I think that changes the narrative, really, because if I don't have money, and people still treat me with respect. It starts to devalue money in my eyes.
Exactly.
But if I don't have money and people treat me, less than, with disdain, and then you see somebody right across from you who may not be better than you from your point of view,
or because they have
everybody's money. And you start to think to yourself, the thing that is important is money. So we start to find ways to remove these issues
that
from
narrative of money is the main thing.
Because even dignity of labor, gone are the days that you're proud to be what you are doing. You're earning real, as in legitimate money. So people we need to go back to those values. It's very important. The more we lose these values, the more we lose our sense of humanity.
I don't even know where we're going to start, because I remember something that happened.
So before you go into that, if we're wrapping up, I want you to keep it short, but let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, so we have a very long way to go. I went to a banking hall one day. It was one of the private banks, private banking, and they were processing a transaction for me. I went on behalf of my company, or the company I work for, and I wanted to sit just where I thought was a lounge. And they said, no, I couldn't sit there.
VIP.
The VIP lounge.
I was like, oh my God. But the bank, I was the only one
there.
I was there. It was early in the morning, and I was to do a quick transaction. I felt really, really bad. And then I asked her, because I will always ask. I was like, why can't I say? I said, it's for HNP.
Oh,
no,
hi,
HNI.
HNI.
Okay.
I didn't even know.
You didn't know what it stood for.
What is
High
Well,
network individual.
High network individual. As a really.
So unfortunately, ladies, we have run out of time. It's been a wonderful conversation. Great to have you on the show with us, Ifeyiwa. Thank you so much, Noma. Issy, as always, great.
Thank you.
So before we go, do ensure that you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we are planning a huge giveaway just to say thank you for watching and believing in the Ways brand. So follow the conversation, do well, and follow us on Instagram, like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Anytime there is a lot of money or ego involved, people tend to behave badly. So we'll see you tomorrow for another great conversation. Have a great evening.
Hello and welcome to Our Voices. Take a look at this. Art, dance, and sports. Three of my favorite things, and this trifecta has long created bridges helping us communicate when words fail us and keeping us entertained and happy during dark moments. And that remains true more now than ever before, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the next half hour, we'll hear from artists who are using their platform to spread inspiration through their work, and athletes who are breaking world records amid the pandemic. But we begin in Mogadishu. Somalia has opened what is being touted as the country's first independent modern arts institution.